Hey, it's Matt, your coach of the Boost Nation, and welcome back to Low Tier. I am so excited to bring you guys along. We are in officially season 6 of the VDL, which is awesome. And of course, we are back in the Wi-Fi Jirachi Division, and we are bringing Low Tier to Wi-Fi. I am so excited for this season. I know you guys have been watching my, or I hope so at least, my NBBL season, which is still traditional Paldea Dex format, slightly traditional Paldea Dex, but Low Tier with all the DLCs now in Paldea Dex, it's no longer Nat Dex for us, is going to be so cool. Anyway, let's talk about it. So we have 70 points to draft from, and the top tier is Pokemon worth 12 points. So obviously you're going to see things like Crocodile or Armarouge, but we also have like Gengar, and we have Hatterene, we have Blastoise in this tier. So those are going to be those really powerful, like the round 1 mons that are going to go. But something else to mention this tier, this season, is we mixed up Terra Captains a little bit. So we have the ability to get up to 2 Terra Captains, and only legal Terra Captain is 4 points or below. You can get up to 2, so if you get a 4-pointer, you have to also get a 2-pointer. If you want a second Terra Captain, it's not necessary you get any Terra Captains. Or you can get 2 2-pointers, a 3-point and 2-pointer, or 2 3-pointers, obviously. And I am not mentioning the 1-point tier because we don't actually have a 1-point tier. We really wanted to dissuade coaches from loading up on those. I don't want to call them bad mons, but they are. I wanted to dissuade coaches from loading up on those really low end mons. So any Pokemon that would traditionally be 1 point is now going to be worth 2. We got pick 8 out of 12, so we're back down to 12 coaches this season. We're not 16 like last season. It's the winter. No one's gonna, people are busy and back home for holidays. Finals push right now, but we were picked 8. Which isn't great, but it could be worse, right? It could be that 5, 6, 7 spot. So 8 gives us an interesting spot. We aren't going to get those Crocodiles or those Gengars or those Galades, like this really powerful offensive threat. So I was looking at the board and I wanted Bulk, man. I am drafting this season to win. I'm drafting this season in a... let me just make sure I'm on the right thing. I am. If I look over there, that's where my laptop is, so I can actually see my picks. I wanted to draft based on my playstyle, and I like Bulk, and I like Pivots. No, this first mon is not Pivot, but it's Bulk. Absolutely, we're just gonna get into it. Our 12-point mon, ladies and gentlemen, we got Suicune. I am so unbelievably excited to use this mon. Suicune's sick, dude. I tried to get Suicune in NBBL. It got picked up, so I had to pick up my Lodec, which I still love that mon. But Suicune, 12 points, one of the best bulky water types in this board, I think. You're typically seeing Suicune run like Scald, Rest, Sleep Talk sets, right? It's a very good rest user because it has a bunch of bulk. It has 115 in both of its defenses, and it has 100 base HP with a pure water typing. That's awesome, and this is one of the few water types that still get Scald, which is really cool. But what I think makes Suicune stand out from these other bulky waters, and kind of similar to Blastoise being able to Shell Smash, is Suicune puts on offensive pressure when I need it to. It has 90 special attack and 85 speed. That is a very good speed tier for a bulky mon. This is going to outpace a lot of those base 80s and below. Like this outpaces Gallade. Is Gallade? Yeah, Gallade's 80. This outpaces Medicham. Why all of those fighting psychic types 80 base speed? But this is also gonna outspeed those like Clodsires. I don't think Clodsire is on this board, but a lot of those bulky ground types that kind of want to, or those water absorb users that want to suck in those attacks. That means I'm faster. I can set up Combines on them. I can go 3 attack Combine. I can go Specs on this set, which is very viable. Assault Vest is a very good set on Suicune. It does get great coverage moves. Let's just take a look at that. Obviously it gets Scald, but it gets Ice Beam, gets Extra Sentry, it gets Shadow Ball. It does get Air Slash. Ice Beam, Air Slash, good for those grass types. I do get Mirror Coat if I have against a very specially heavy team. I do get Icy Wind if I want to slow things down. Excuse me. I do have Snarl. If I decide to lower their special attack, and I also get stuff like Whirlpool. And I do honestly 75 base attack is not bad. Plus I do Suicune does get extreme speed. Like, I don't think I'm ever bringing that, but it does have it as an option. I just think Suicune's so well-rounded. It can do anything. I'll bring Calm Mind 3 attacks all of the time if I need to. It's a very good leftovers user. It's a very good Citrus Berry user. Like, it doesn't get hazards. It doesn't get hazard removal. It doesn't get statuses, really. It doesn't get... what is the word I'm trying to... It can't, like, set rocks. Is that what I'm thinking? There's something else I'm thinking and I can't remember. It's just such a good traditional bulky water type, and getting it at 12 points in our first pick, I could not be happier. So looking into our next pick, again, I wanted that pivoting option. I always value a Wish support mon. I mean, I'm just going to jump right into this, guys. I've picked this for the 4th season. We got Florges. Suicune is named Arrow, and this is Fleetwood. Guess the nickname thing. I think you'll figure it out. We're going with the blue Florges this season because it turns out a lot of our mons have like these bluish purple shinies, and I think that's cool. So at any of our mons that had a blue form, we were going with it. We got Florges. I mean, Florges for 11 points, obviously it's really expensive. I was trying to get Sylveon, because Sylveon was 9 points and does very similar things. Florges is a little bulky on the special side, but Sylveon is more of a mixed defensive mon and can hit really hard. Let me just make sure that my microphone is going because I don't see it. Yep, it's down there and should be good. Maybe I'm a little quiet. Maybe I need to move it closer and up my volume when I edit it. But enough rambling. You guys know what Florges does because I use it all the time, right? It's got 78 base HP, which is a very good HP stat when you're using Wish. It's got rough defense at 68, which isn't horrible, but it's got 154 SPDF, right? That's what this thing does. And it's very similar to Suicune in the fact that it has 112 base special attack, 75 speed. This is not a mon that's going to sit there and be passive every game. I can run Moonblast, Wish Protect, Baton Pass, which I probably will run almost every week, and Moonblast is going to put in a lot of work. It's going to hit hard. Florges, I love this mon. This is probably I think now my favorite mon to use in draft in general. I love this thing, getting it for 11 points and paired with Suicune. That is such a bulky core. And we're going to kind of stick with this into our 3rd pick. Bam, y'all, we get Dragalge round 3 for 9 points. I think this is an absolute steal. I think Dragalge should have been more points. This mon is awesome. It is a dragon type that pairs well with Florges as my fairy type, and it's a dragon type that is not afraid of fairy types because I have the poison type. Adaptability is its ability that I'll be running most of the time. What adaptability does, and I'm going to make sure I read it correctly. My stab boost, instead of 1.5, it's 2. So my Dracos and my Sludge Waves are going to hit like a truck. I'm going to nuke things. I'm going to OHKO a lot of mons with that Draco Meteor that you typically will not expect it. And plus, fairy types don't want to switch in on this thing because, one, I can smack it with the Sludge Wave adaptability with almost 100 special attack, and my defenses are very good. I have 90 base physical defense, 65 HP isn't great, but 123 SPDF. Like that's very bulky. I can give this thing an Assault Vest. I can give this thing a Black Sludge or a Citrus Berry. I've even seen like Endure Custap sets with this thing. Very, very, very strong mon for 9 points. This is a nice toxic setter. It is a grounded poison type. It also gets Scald, by the way, which is interesting. I have 2 Scald users now. Obviously, it gets toxic and toxic spite, so this is my first hazard setter. I will warn you, hazard setting is weak this season for me. It's okay. We're going to figure it out. I do get Haze if setup threats are becoming a problem. Obviously, I think Substitute is a very good set on this mon, but a really, really valuable thing that this has now, this generation, is Flip Turn. This is Flip Turn with 44 base speed. This is one of the only slower mon I can think of is Vespiquen that has pivoting moves. And you'll find out I play Vespiquen week 1. Or like my coach has Vespiquen week 1. I don't know if he's going to bring it. But this is one of the slowest pivot options in the game. Now, Flip Turn's not going to do a lot because it's not stab, but 75 base attack, it's not something to sleep on. Throw a choice band on this thing. I'm so curious what it gets physically, actually. It gets Gunk Shot, it gets Outrage, this thing gets Play Rough, what? It gets Dragon Tail if one of phase things out, I get Scale Shot. I don't know. I think Dragalge is awesome. I'm not really going to use it defensively a lot. I'm going to give this thing an AV or a Specs or a Life Orb, and I'm just going to like nuke things. This mon very often will get a kill and then die. Get a kill, and it's not frail, but it's slow, right? So I'll get a kill, take a hit, get some more damage off, and let it fall, but that will be doing its job. So looking at our fourth pick, I still really wanted to try and keep this top-heavy momentum, but there was not a lot of steel types left that I really wanted, but there was one that I saw that I probably could have waited a little bit, but I didn't want to wait on it. I wanted to get a good Fairy Dragon Steel Core up, so we grabbed our boy Steely Dan, the Magneton. Magneton is really, really cool in low tier. Obviously, you do see a lot of defensive Magnetons. 50 base HP is bad, but 95 defense, 70 special defense with the EV Light, that brings it up to around 140 defense and like, what's 45? So like 105 for def, give or take. That's a very, very strong, bulky steel type. Bulky electric types are very valuable. Obviously, I have that 4 times weakness to ground types, but a lot of the ground types in this format are slower, and I actually grabbed one of the faster ground types later on. So ground types are a big threat, and I do get Magnet Rise, so I'm able to click Magnet Rise and be faster than it. And then fighting types are a little bit of a weakness on this mon. However, Dragalge and Florges can pretty much take those every day of the week. Now, the downside of Magneton is it has very, very little coverage. In fact, when it comes to special moves, I believe it doesn't get any coverage. It is only electric moves and steel moves, and then it gets normal type moves. But I'm not, like, best I can do is try attack. But I don't really need a lot else. This thing, if I want to run offensively, which I plan to do because it has 70 base speed and throw a Scarf or a Specs on this thing, it hits like a truck with 120 base attack. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Flash Cannon, Steel Beam. That's all I need, and I can do a ton as long as I've gotten rid of the electric immunities. Like Steel Beam's doing a ton to a ground type, especially one that's weakened. And the only things that can really wall this thing are other electric types. And Gouge can help deal with that. A lot of these electric types are special, so Florges can help. I'm going to get mons later on that can really deal with this. For 6 points, getting such a versatile EV Light user and Steel type is very valuable to me. Obviously, this thing does not want to get knocked off. However, I do have other mons here like the Florges like this weekend that don't mind getting knocked off. Like they don't want to, but I do have these switch-ins. And I think Magneton's going to be really, really cool. I also think Shiny looks awesome. I understand that it could have been blue if I wasn't shiny, but I think it's just too cool to pass up how cool this mon looks. Going to the next mon, guys, we are not beating around the bush. I wore this sweater for a reason. This is the mon I am the most excited for in our entire draft. We got our boy Trevenant back. I am so excited to use this mon. Normally it's Dakota, this season it's Jovi. I almost named it John Bon. Oh my god, Trevenant's awesome. So it is 4 points, and it is our first, and I will spoil, our first and only Terra Captain this format. I originally wanted Trevenant plus Reboot, but Reboot ended up getting taken, so we just stuck with one Terra Captain and went a little like for higher point mons later on. Trevenant's awesome, dude. People sleep on this mon so much. This is one, like, offensively, it's strong. Grass and Ghost is really nice. Dual stab with Warhammer Poltergeist, right? And 100 base attacks, pretty strong. However, that is not what makes Trevenant good. What makes Trevenant good is, one, its abilities. All 3 abilities it gets are awesome. One, it gets Natural Cure, so whenever I switch out, I can get rid of those paras or those Toxics or those Will-O-Wisps, which are very important. You see a lot more Toxic in low tier. 2 is Frisk. Frisk is one of the best abilities in Draft League in general, because information hunting is crucial, right? You need to find that out early. And number 3, my favorite ability on this, and I need to convince myself not to bring this set every week, but I want to, is Harvest. Trevenant, Citrus Harvest, Sub Protect, Leech Seed, Toxic, Willow, Horn Leech, like such a bulky mon and so easy to get back health. It's tough to gain back health if I'm not below half, but Horn Leech really does help with that. This is just such a strong mon with that ability. I can whittle things down with Toxic. I can run Spadef and Will-O-Wisp if physical threats are scaring me. Now, I am weak to knockoff. I am weak to a lot of common types, but that is where our Terra types come in. I was fighting between 3. Water, Fairy, and Steel. And you can see on our screen right now, we went for Fairy and Steel. The reason is, I think Water is probably the best Terra type. I wanted to go Fairy and Water, is what I wanted to do, because I don't like the Steel type for Steel being weak to Fire, and now giving myself a fighting weakness. However, Steel does help me with the flying types, which I think were really important. I do have Magneton to deal with that. However, Magneton's not that slow, and a lot of these not that fast, and a lot of these flying types have access to close combat. So if I can give Trevenant Fizz Def, I can resist those flying type moves and then click a Willow, and that is hugely important to me. Plus, I didn't feel like water gave me much when we finished out the draft looking at my weaknesses. Like I wasn't weak to fire types. I wasn't really weak to grass types. Nope, not grass types. To ice types, or anything else that water resists. So I did go Fairy and Steel. Fairy is awesome on this mon. I can Terra Fairy, and now I'm not weak to knockoff, but I resist it, right? Plus, Fairy Stab with Grass and Ghost. That hits almost the entire board. That allows me to hit. The only thing that doesn't really let me hit is Steel types. I struggle with Steel types, but I have Earthquake, so I can easily run this thing Choice Band. I get Shadow Sneak, I get Sucker Punch, I get Poltergeist, Wood Hammer, I get these Terra Blast, I get Earthquake. Like, this is such a cool mon. Trevenant's gonna come every single week. I don't care if it's a good matchup or not. Probably not, but still, dude, I love this mon so much, and I think it's strong in standard format. It's even stronger in low tier, dude. Looking at next mon, I wanted more power, right? A lot of my power was coming from the special end right now. In fact, my front four are especially offensive, and I want to run Trevenant relatively defensive this season, so I needed a Fizz Def mon, and I also needed some hazard removal. So bam, we got Braviary. By the way, I have slowed this GIF down. This is about 50% of the speed of its GIF. It goes so fast. Oh, excuse me. I'm drinking OJ. Braviary is awesome. Another 6-point mon. I think this was value too low. This one just hits like a truck. Look at the stats real quick. First off, 100 HP with 75 in both of its defenses. Not like a bulky mon, but can definitely run Fizz Def because it gets stuff like Roost and U-Turn. I say Fizz Def, not defensive, because it gets stuff like Roost and U-Turn, and it's got a nice defensive typing. Flying's a great defensive typing. I know I don't resist the fighting type because I'm also part normal type, but we have enough fighting resistance and immunities right now that we can deal with it. But I mean, this thing is running offensively. 80 base speed, 123 attack. It's the same attack stat as a SPDF stat of Dragalge, which is interesting. But Brave Bird, double edge close combat, right? That's what I'm running on this mon. It does so much damage. Obviously, that hurts me in the end because I get a lot of recoil. But this thing nukes. I can throw a Choice Scarf on this thing with U-Turn. I can throw a Choice Band on this thing. It just hit with offensive moves. It does also get Dual Wing Beat if I don't want to run Brave Bird. I get things like Iron Head and Zen Headbutt and Rock Slide. I get Shadow Claw if there's like a Hoopa running around. Yeah, that's what it would be for. I get U-Turn. I do get Facade if I get burned, which is really interesting. Dude, this mon's so cool. It just does so much damage. And its abilities make it even better. One's got Sheer Force. Sheer Force Life Orb with this thing, 1.3 power. Super, super strong. Now, I don't have a lot of moves that benefit from Sheer Force. In fact, I don't think I have any flying type moves that do, but I do have moves like Body Slam and Iron Head and Zen Headbutt that do a lot with the Sheer Force boost, and I can run just like a Life Orb Sheer Force with Brave Bird, which still does a lot because of Life Orb boost, and do a ton of damage there. But I also want to talk about this mod has some decent utility. It gets good setup, it gets agility and bulk up, which are two really, really strong moves, especially on this mon if I want to run like bulk up Roost. 80 base speed is not something to scoff at. It outspeeds a lot of those middling speed or lower speed mons. Plus I get Tailwind and Whirlwind. So Tailwind can not just boost my speed, but our entire team, so I can Whirlwind out any that are setting up. I also got Home Claws. I don't think I ever need that, but I get Defog, right? This is a Defog user. It's hard pressed to find a good Defog or Rapid Spin user in this format, and I think this is one of the better ones because it also gets Defiant. Defiant is awesome. My attack stat is raised by 2 anytime a stat is lowered by a foe, so this can come in on opposing Defog users, get the attack boost, and now I'm really, really threatening. Now, it's not great because I don't have good hazard setters. Like, Defiant isn't going to give me much this season. In fact, I never get a Spikes user, and I only end up getting 1 Rocks user. So all of my hazards are 1 Rocks user, 1 T-Spikes user. And maybe that's going to come to bite me, but I don't tend to hazard stack in my games, which means I can run Sheer Force. And you know what? I can also run Kenai. I can't have my accuracy lowered. I don't know if that's gonna matter. Skinner's awesome. I think this is a cool mon. Braviary is just like a cool dude. I love these like, actually this is my only Gen 5 mon so far, right? I keep thinking I end up drafting a lot of Gen 5 mons. I think I only ended up drafting 2. I don't know. Dude, Braviary's cool. I have like a lot of the like Gen 5, Gen 6 era mons. Next, let's just jump right in there. We got Cryogonal, baby. We wanted more hazard removal. That was really it, and I wanted a good rapid spinner, and I wanted an ice type user, and I wanted more speed. Cryogonal gives me a lot in this team. My speed tiers were looking kind of slow. I didn't have anything breaking base 100, and I do get plenty of mons that break that in my last 3 picks. But Cryogonal hits that 105 base speed tier, which is really nice for a bulky mon. Cryogonal has 80 base HP, which is pretty solid, 50 defense, which is weak, but 135 special defense and 105 speed. That is very, very strong. This can run offensively and cover the flamethrowers or the flash cannons that are going to really threaten this mon. Doesn't really help against fighting types, but that's fine. And I can dish out solid damage with 95 base special attack and freeze dry. Freeze dry is really important because I do need something that can help with these water types. I do have one of the better bulky waters, but there's still things like Blastoise and Gyarados and Tentacruel that are out. Actually, I don't think Gyarados is picked up right now, but still. A point being, I can hit those water types if I need to. But really, this mon is coming with Recover and Rapid Spin. I wanted another hazard remover. Now, both of my hazard removers are weak to rock. However, I'm going to be running these things with heavy duty boots anyway, most likely, so I really don't mind it. Plus, Cryogonal does get levitate, so I am immune to spikes and T-spikes, which is really nice, so I feel comfortable coming in on hazards if rocks aren't up, or even if I if it didn't have boots. I can get rid of them comfortably, raise my speed, and then I'm at a really good speed tier. So I could very easily see me running 3 attacks plus rapid spin. Because I get surprisingly good coverage. First off, I get Solar Beam. Solar Beam's really interesting. I can hit those ground types fine. I can deal with the water types with Freeze Dry, but Freeze Dry is 70 base power. Solar Beam hitting those like rock types and water types, that could be awesome and something really sneaky. Obviously, I get Flash Cannon, I get Ice Beam. I do get Ancient Power if they're fire types like a Talonflame. That would be really threatening to me. I get Icy Wind, I guess. I get Chilling Water. I get Frost Breath, which is always a crit. What's the crit chance? Like, how much more damage do you get from a crit? Okay, 50% more damage. Does that mean Frost Breath is 90 base power? Like, it's 60 base power, and I know it's only 90% accuracy, but it's always a crit. That's interesting. That's nice for, like, against Calm Mind users. I might have to consider that at some point, actually. I don't know, Cryogonal's a really cool mon. It's a freaky, happy-looking snowflake. My partner did note out to me that those, like, blue things behind that slit are supposed to be its eyes, and that's making me really uncomfortable. I didn't like that those are its eyes, and now I see this mon very differently. And I don't like looking at it. But again, another 6-point mon. We're going to move on because I don't want to see it. Y'all, we've got Dougie. Big Doug trio. I'm so excited to use this mon. Listen, it's not amazing. However, it's so frail. Honestly, listen, 70 speed F isn't horrible, but it's got 35 HP and 50 in its defense. Dude, we are running this as offensive as possible with a focus sash 90% of the time. 100 base attack is pretty solid. It's not great, but it's solid. And 120 speed. That's why I picked this mon. I really wanted at least one mon faster than that 110, 115 mark. I wanted one mon that hit that 110 mark and one mon that broke that 115 mark. And I ended up getting both of those, which is awesome. But now this is my only rock setter. And it's not a good rock setter. But it is 4 points. I have the ability to switch it to a Terra Captain later on in the season if I feel necessary. I won't be doing that because I love Trevenant so much. But it's still a cool option. But this mon, and obviously I do not get Arena Trap. I have to run Sand Force because I cannot run Sand Veil because I'm not allowed to raise my immunity. And I cannot run Arena Trap because that's a banned ability, so I can only run Sand Force. However, I get good damage in the sand. Let's look at this mon. First off, status moves. I get Memento. Which is awesome for something that has 120 base attack. This can come in, do some damage, get down to its focus sash, click Memento. I can get into a setup sweeper and theoretically win the game from there. right? It puts me in a really, really good opportunity. Obviously, I do get Stealth Rocks. I do get Sword Stance. Sword Stance on the spawn is very powerful. If I'm switching out on something that doesn't want to die right away and I can kill it, I can click a Sword Stance, I can keep my Focus Sash, and I can do a ton of damage in return. I also get Charm. Fast Charm is cool. I also get Agility. I'm never going to run that. I also get Curse, which is really funny. But I'm not running Setup, guys. I am running Earthquake. I'm running Stone Edge. I'm running probably Sucker Punch on this thing. And then I've got, like, Foul Play. I've got Body Slam. I've got Throat Chop. I've got, I don't know, Facade. I think I get... I don't know how this thing gets Shadow Claw. It doesn't even have claws. Dude, I love Dougie. I needed it for the pace. It's got a little blue shiny. This mon's super cool. Again, this is also... The GIF is slowed down. I don't know what's up with some of these mons. But people are going to sleep on this mon all season long, and I think it's going to work. Next mon. Bam. We get Stevie Nicks, the Espeon. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. Let's just go. Aha for a nickname for Doug Trio? Like, how perfect is that? Alright. We got Stevie Nicks, we got Espeon. Getting this mon so late was awesome. Now, originally, this was not my plan. I wanted Cobalion in one of these last two spots because I have 12 points available. So what I wanted to do was get Cobalion and get a 2-point fire type. But what ended up happening was AP, which is actually my weak 1 opponent, ended up picking up Cobalion. A good couple picks before, but I didn't think it was going to get picked up at all. I think I was going to sneak my way into the end, but it didn't end up getting picked up. So I wanted something else that had a nice base speed, can give me some more offensive pressure, and Espeon actually looks very, very good in this team. Obviously it's 8 points, which is a very good point total for this tier. For this board. It gives me some bulk options. First off, 65 HP isn't great, but 95 SPDF with both the Synchronize ability and the Magic Bounce ability is awesome. I told you I didn't have great hazard setting, but I'm kind of hoping I can use Espeon to help me set hazards if someone else wants to set hazards to me. Magic Bounce, I'm probably going to bring 6 out of 8 times I bring this mon. It bounces back any status of the user, so if it does try to like T-Wave me or Toxic me, I can bounce that back. But it also gets Synchronized, so if I want to, if something tries to pair it, I guess I would never run. Synchronize. I do have Magic Bounce. If something runs Nuzzle, I can pair it in return. Anyway, Magic Bounce is a very good ability. Let's look at this thing offensively. That's what it's here for, right? 110 base speed puts me at that mark I really wanted to hit. I now have Cryogonal 105, Espeon 110, Dougie 120. That's awesome. And good numbers too. And 130 base special attack. This is my strongest special attacker, just ahead of Magneton. And it gets some awesome coverage moves. Obviously it gets Future Sight, which I think is going to be really strong, but it gets Psychic, it gets Alluring Voice, that fairy type move. It does get Power Gem, it gets Expanding Force. If I'm in terrain, it does get Grass Knot to hit those really bulky water types. It does get Shadow Ball for opposing Psychic types. I get Draining Kiss or Mud Slap, I guess, but I also get really good status moves. Let's take a look real quick. I do get I get fast Wish Baton Pass, which is interesting. I have 2 Wish Passers now if I feel like that's something that's valuable. This mon does get T-Wave. I can run Morning Sun Substitute, so if I really want to run this thing SPDF, I can. I get status moves, I get healing moves, but typically you're going to see this thing, and I can also run screens on this mon. But often you are seeing this thing either run a choice item with 3 attacks plus Trick, or Calm Mind Setup Sweeper. And it's so good at both of those. I think Espeon can be very, very powerful this season. I don't know how often I'm going to bring it. I typically prefer my Psychic types to be bulky. I find that the Psychic type is very weak this gen. But I hope to be proven wrong. And I think Espeon is a very good user of that typing. Last one, we're just going to jump right into it. We got Magmar, y'all. I told you I wanted Reboot, didn't get Reboot, had to shuffle around. I was kind of between Magmar and Magmortar. I wanted Magmar more, plus I think Magmortar actually was a little bit more expensive. Magmar's cool, y'all. Let's look at these stats. 65 base HP, again, pretty low. But, and 57 defense, bad. 85 SPDF with an EV Light, that's really good. I really don't expect to bring Magmar a lot, but I think it's a mon that people are going to sleep on. It gets 95 attack and 100 special attack. That is a very good, like, assault vest user, or I mean, if I'm running AV, I'd run EV Light because it does the same thing, it's better. There's 4 attacks in this mon, dude. Like I can hit hard, I get good coverage. I really needed a fire type defensively because opposing fire types were becoming a threat. I mean, I did have Suicune and Dragalge to help, but I didn't have any other resists. And my Trevenant could not Terra Water, so I needed a third fire resist, and I think this is a good one. Good one to get. 93 speed, very weird speed tier, slower than those 95s, but faster than those 90s. Excuse me, I've got something in my throat right now. Maybe it's my nose. 93 speed tier. This thing is fast, guys. You wouldn't expect it, and it gets Flame Body, which is a very, very good ability against physical attackers. Let's look on the physical side. Obviously, it gets Flare Blitz and it gets Heat Crash. It would never run Heat Crash, so it's not heavy, but it gets Flare Blitz, it gets Low Kick. It does get a lot of fighting type coverage. I think it's interesting. It gets Cross Chop. It gets Dynamic Punch. I do get Poison Jam for Fairy types. I get Thunder Punch for Water types or Flying types. I do get Knock Off. I do get Facade. If I get Toxic, Knock Off with the mon could be very helpful. And I also get Flame Charge and Mach Punch. Those are 2 really interesting moves. If I want to click a Flame Charge, this mon also gets Bulk Up. Flame Charge Bulk Up could be really scary. And what's also scary is Bulk Up Mach Punch. Having any good priority, it is very crucial, and Mach Punch is really nice for those steel types. Mach Punch is really nice for those fast ice types. I mean, they're not really threatening Magmar, but whatever. It's also good for those dark types. I wasn't dark weak, but didn't have a lot offensively to deal with dark types, and Magmar kind of helps with that with all of its fighting coverage. And now looking just on a special side, pretty similar type wise, but it gets Overheat, it gets Focus Blast, which I hope not to bring. It does get Belch, which is cool. Citrus Berry Magmar with Belch is a real set. Obviously, I get the Fire Blast, Heat Wave, Flamethrowers. I do get Psychic, which is nice. I get Scorching Sands if I want to try to burn stuff and hit other fire types super effectively. I'm probably running this thing mixed very often. I do get Taunt, and this is a nice fast Taunt user. I do get Will-O-Wisp. I do get Curse if I don't need that speed and I want to raise my defense as well. I guess I don't get Bulk Up. I was thinking of Curse is what I was thinking of. Curse Flame Charge, though, to keep me at that speed tier. Hey, maybe that works. I think Magmar's cool. I'm not going to bring this mon all the time, but I think it'll be fun, and I hope to at least bring it once or twice. Anyway, y'all, I think I've said my piece. So battles, they will be coming out every Sunday. I'm going to aim for around 12 to 1 o'clock-ish. I'm not going to make it exactly, but that's going to be my time frame. And when it comes to watch-alongs, they will be happening that Monday or Tuesday, and we're going to switch which day. Jirachi Division will be one day, all of the other divisions will be on another day. Anyway, I think I said everything I need to say. Maybe this was great, maybe you guys hated it. Good time. Let me know what you, genuinely, please let me know what you think about the team in the comments below. It's not perfect. I don't have great hazard setter, that's the big thing. I have good offensive threats here and there, but it might look like it's lacking a little bit of power. I think this team's going to really, really work. Oh my god, Magmar's claws, dude? That's scary. 5 fingers on each hand? That's nuts. It is chili. That's Red Hot Chili Peppers. Let me know what you guys think of the team in the comments below. I will see you guys for week 1 against AP. Probably the strongest battler in our league. I'm excited, but that's not going to be an easy game. But we'll see you there. Wish me luck. Peace out, y'all.